Ah, the first thing we see in this entry is a different view. That's pretty. A fall setting is something we haven't witnessed yet. Along with that, we get a small little tune to accompany it. The same could be said for Thomas, who's seeing this for himself. As he rolled along, we would pass by a farmer and his tractor. Stopping by one day, the two make quick chit-chat.
Hello, said the tractor. I'm Terence. I am ploughing. I'm Thomas. I'm pulling a train. What ugly wheels you've got. They're not ugly. They're caterpillars, said Terence.
That's right. You tell 'em, Terence. Imagine if the inventor of those treads called them that. Yeah, man, check out my uglies. They get me everywhere. Finding nothing interesting about them, Thomas chuffs off with no intention of wanting to learn more. Sometime later, the season changed to winter, of which we get a totally brand new look. Ooh, this is new. As well as the Christmas rendition of Thomas's anthem. See how easy it is for the sleigh bells to make it sound like a holiday? Seeing the volume that surrounds them, Thomas's driver is unsure whether it would pose a problem or not. Thomas, on the other hand, thought nothing of it.
I hope it doesn't stop us. Huh, said Thomas, soft stuff, nothing to it. And he puffed on, feeling cold but confident.
I don't agree with his ignorance, but I can see where the arrogance comes from. With what? Thomas being God knows how many tons in weight, and the momentum he creates when moving? I could see how one would think light and fluffy stuff wouldn't stop a behemoth like him. Unfortunately, Thomas found out that his driver thought otherwise. Feeling that it could be an issue, Thomas was registered his own personal snowplow. Thomas wasn't having that at all, though.
A snowplow was heavy and uncomfortable and made Thomas cross. He shook it and he banged it, and when they got back, it was so damaged that the driver had to take it off. You're a very naughty engine, he said to Thomas.
Heck yeah, you tell him, driver. That's twice now Thomas got shot down by someone else for being stubborn. You may know how to handle trucks and coaches, Thomas, but you still haven't managed to learn from others. You've only been able to learn so far from your own mistakes. That pretty much sounds like how things are going to work out. The next day, workers attempted to mend the plow, but it was damaged far beyond repair, and Thomas was free to go without it. Feeling smarmy, Thomas pats himself on the back. Here we get a third new tune, which is mainly considered Annie and Clarabelle's theme. It sounds old-fashioned, just like them.
Thomas was pleased. I shan't have to wear it. I shan't have to wear it, he puffed to Annie and Clarabelle. I hope it's all right. I hope it's all right, they whispered to each other.
Continuing his run, Thomas makes a dash for a tunnel, but didn't realize on the other side was a snowbank. And before he knew it, Thomas was encased in snow, only proving to himself that even his water-boiling steel behind doesn't have enough force to push through a solid snowbank. Trying to quickly back out, more powdered flour rolled down his sides, which in all honesty, the possibility of snow being made of flour wouldn't be surprising at all. Feeling dumber than usual, Thomas gets upset over the fact of how silly he's been. Soon after, another character came into frame, currently known as the Red Bus. But we'll find out who he is shortly. Not far behind was Terence to the rescue. Not concerned at all thanks to his caterpillar treads, and with another catchy character motif. Aw yeah.
He pulled the empty coaches away, then came back for Thomas.
What amazes me is that Terence had the horsepower to haul Thomas clear of the snowdrift. After all, Terence's directional force was more away and down. This wasn't like if another train were bookended to Thomas where all the force would be mainly in one direction. The physics applied here aren't the same. Yeah, that's right, I just threw in a small engineering lesson. They just don't make tractors like they used to anymore, and Terence certainly ain't no John Deere brand. Once he was free, Thomas reversed to thank Terence for the assist. Knowing he needs to retract and reconcile his earlier remarks to Terence, Thomas apologizes.
Thank you, Terence. Your caterpillars are splendid, said Thomas. I hope you'll be sensible now, Thomas, said his driver. I'll try, said Thomas, and he puffed humbly away.
You'll try? Terence just saved your red buffered behind. Quoting Yoda, "Do or do not. There is no try. And as much as I'm hammering away at Thomas here, I really do like this episode for a multitude of things. The story itself is a good lesson on not taking things face value. Terence is the first new character that is a non-locomotive related vehicle. Well, that aside from Birdie. I mean the unnamed red bus. And seeing how thick-skinned he was when it came to snide comments made by Thomas was an important thing to demonstrate. Thomas is obviously still learning on how much authority he truly thinks he has, and so far he has continued to learn by making a fool of himself. Serves him right. He was lucky that Terence came by. He could have just let Thomas freeze into a giant train-sicle. You never know who you will end up relying on in the future. As for music and production value, this is the first episode where we see 2 more weather seasons. For everything that came before it, summer or maybe later spring seemed to be the time of year that was shown. Here, though, we get a small glimpse of fall, and charge right into cold winter, a season I cannot stand. But the way the sets are placed look gorgeous. Looking at Thomas's branch line with a variety of angles that show the vast amounts of snow that have piled up is something that will keep the brain stimulated. We also get 4 new tunes, and who doesn't love that? The autumn theme was a good transitional piece. The Christmas version of Thomas's theme blended nicely. Annie and Clarabelle's motif was suitable in every way. And Terence's theme, although harder to describe, sounds very carefree and jovial. That's all I can articulate here. Very much an enjoyable entry. Next episode is Thomas and Birdie. Thanks for watching.